You know, it's often said that the West and East Coast Super Mutants are rather different from each other, and it's easy to see why.
Super Mutants fight! Kill, not talk!
I'm not asking you to kill them. Just talk them into leaving. Hell, pay them off if you have to.
But when you look at Super Mutants from a cultural perspective, there's probably a lot more that connects them than you would think. Here's a study of Super Mutant culture, both the West and the East. Let's start with the differences as we lead into what makes them similar. Intelligence appears to be valued amongst the West Coast Super Mutant society. After all, with the death of the Master, it's usually the intelligent Super Mutants that rise to the rank of leadership among them. We see this with Marcus, Tabitha, Davison, and Keen.
I represent the Nightkin. Marcus may lead this town, but the Nightkin listen to what I have to say.
But occasionally, it doesn't even have to be a super mutant. Dog, the alter ego of the Nightkin in Dead Money, God, highly reflects the second generation super mutant, and he is obedient to the former Brotherhood elder, Father Elijah.
He takes care of Dog. He tells Dog what to do. Told Dog to come here, put collars on people.
This is connected to the need of the super mutants, at least the second generation super mutants, to have a master. New Vegas repeatedly tells us that the lesser intelligent mutants need to be told what to do. They tell us this with Neil.
The community ended up being mostly second gen, not very bright, but easy to influence.
Tabitha.
That's right! I, Tabitha, will take on the burden of your obedience!
And even Father Elijah.
All his kind, they exist to be given orders. They're soldiers, simple, stupid. I asked him to fetch, and he did, even without the threat of death.
Elijah's words, while crude and brutish, does appear to hit at something important. What was the original Super Mutant project supposed to be about? A method of creating super soldiers. And soldiers are considered, at least by leadership, to be the best when they are obedient. This is separate from the East Coast branches. Intelligence is not valued. In fact, for the Vault 87 mutants, it's considered an undesirable feature, as we learn from Fox.
All I can remember is the excruciating pain that tore through me as my body underwent the rapid physical changes. For most, this moment is what severs the grip on their minds. They become barely a shell of their former selves. I was different. When I spoke to them, they immediately branded me another failure and had me placed here as a curiosity.
In the case of the Institute mutants, intelligent decisions, like choosing to hunt animals rather than raid human parties, can get you kicked out of an Institute clan, as we can see in the case of Erickson. Still, the Institute mutants do have more intelligence than their 87 counterparts. Being able to set traps and understand technology, or at least their purpose enough, to have it utilized in their plans.
Little did they know, there was a radio in here.
They know. You bait to catch more humans.
What? Why didn't you tell me?
Strong thought you know.
Now, as far as leaders go, they don't have an almost unquestioning obedience that the second generation mutants have shown. As we can see from Strong, he's willing to abandon the Soul Survivor if he thinks the Soul Survivor is a poor leader, or choose to praise him and state he's better than Fist if he likes the Soul Survivor. As far as the Huntersville mutants go, 76 uses a lot of the same assets that were used to make Fallout 4. So much of what we talk about for Fallout 4 can probably apply to the Huntersville mutants. On the West Coast, Super Mutants seem to come in two different flavors when they band together. Civilizations, where they settle down and try to make a living, or roaming parties in search of a particular item. In general, the civilized ones perform much of the same type of actions as human civilizations do, such as herding or mining, and the roaming parties don't seem to target any particular groups, but they have no problems with attacking others if needed. On the other hand, as far as the East Coast goes, every group appears to be a raiding party, whether it be 87 mutants, Institute mutants, or the Huntersville mutants. They have camps, but they get together to attack humans, capture them, and eat them. Or, in the case of Vault 87, they may drag them off to turn them into a super mutant.
However, I can recall being in this place. when it wasn't the macabre laboratory it has become.
I did mention that the East Coast mutants eat people, so let's talk about their diet. The diet subject is something that is both similar but different. We'll get to the similarities in a second, but the reality is the East Coast mutants eat about any meat. Humans, Mirelurk, dogs, or other super mutants. So, while the East Coast mutants eat humans, the West Coast does not. Or, at least we haven't seen them eat humans, except for Dog. But that's actually an important character trait for Dog. Dog eats about anything, like a dumb dog.
Dog's been into things, needs to think before he eats, chew before he swallows. He's eager that way. Now the collar's a part of me. Inside. I can feel its electronic heartbeat, clicking and burning down below, like before.
I do know in Fallout 2, rats were one of the meats that Gen 2 Super Mutants would eat. Mind you, some of the Gen 2 Super Mutants were trapped in Mariposa. And in New Vegas, Marcus talks about how bighorners are good for eating. In addition, West Coast Super Mutants, being more civilized, also appear to enjoy alcohol. We can see a few of those mutants throughout Fallout 2, enjoying the bar. There's also a super mutant named Elmo, who constantly gets thrown into the Broken Hills jails due to him getting blackout drunk and causing trouble. Now to move on to the similarities. While the West Coast mutants don't seem to enjoy eating people, they do enjoy meat quite a lot. If we were to go into conjecture, it's perhaps due to the protein. What's a super mutant? Basically a really strong human. They have a lot of muscle that needs protein, so meat is perhaps the main dish for super mutants. That's not to say they don't eat vegetables or fruits or whatever, I just haven't really seen them do so. Apologies for the audio difference, but this is something I forgot to add to the script originally before I recorded the lines. I wanted to also mention pets being a common interest between both the West and East Coast Super Mutants. The West Coast Super Mutants have both centaurs and floaters as pets. Centaurs are exclusively used by the 87 mutants, floaters are used by the Huntersville mutants, and the mutant hound is used by both the Institute and Huntersville Super Mutants. This is a really short section, but I wanted to mention it. For many super mutants, there seems to be a love about who they turn into. The most obvious case would be the Lieutenant of Fallout 1.
Better. More than human. I too was once human. Like you, I was a slug wallowing in the mud before being exposed to FEV and undergoing my glorious transformation.
But even Marcus in Fallout 2 talks about his love of being a super mutant, even still believing that the Master's way was better.
My memories of being a human aren't as clear as they once were, but I remember pettiness, hatred, jealousy. I prefer being a mutant.
And of course, many of the East Coast mutants love who they are, often shouting war cries about super mutant supremacy. Bucks is interesting. He denounces the super mutant title and takes up a new one.
No! Must you use that vulgar term? Yes. I was born in the FEV chambers. But a super mutant, I certainly am not. I prefer the term metahuman. Suits me better, don't you think?
It appears he doesn't dislike the body of a super mutant, he just hates the association of the title. And at one point he'll even say my fellow metahumans when talking about the other Vault 87 super mutants. The only one who seems to be disgusted by being a super mutant is Virgil, though he changed himself with the intention of eventually changing back. His was a necessity, and he was able to keep his intelligence and personality. It appears that the vast majority takes a pride in the species, though there are some exceptions, like Fox to a degree, or Virgil. Most are prideful, and most feel a sense of unity.
The unity is the goal of all super mutants. Through the FEV virus, we will bring all of humanity together in peace.
From the very first game, unity was the theme of the super mutants. As the Master fell, they largely stuck together, aiding each other. Some integrated with other humans, but those who did were usually intelligent and saw it as a method of survival. On the East Coast, the Vault 87 mutants have a desire to create more of them. It almost seems like a subconscious need. But we get the best look at their sense of unity from Strong. After all, Strong is just an average East Coast super mutant. Not intelligent, a warmonger like any other. and it makes him the best one to tell us about super mutant culture.
Super mutants are brothers. Brothers share all, not own things like humans. Humans share like brother. Super mutants fight, kill, not talk. Human kill, not talk. Human would be good super mutant.
Wait, you like killing and sharing?
All super mutants one. Together. Share all make better fighters. All super mutants against all others. All humans one. Together. All humans against all others. Fight together. Kill all others. Human and strong fight together. Share together. Human and strong. One.
They consider each other brothers. All of them. To be a super mutant means to be united. They're a family. And as a family, they share freely with each other. The desire to see unity extends to other species too, strangely. So, super mutants on the West and East have similarities, but they go about things differently. They both have a sense of pride, and it's supremacy in a lot of cases. However, the West Coast Super Mutants are veteran soldiers of a former enemy, trying to integrate into a world that largely rejects them. While the East Coast Mutants are a band of raiders that reject the world that rejects them, and largely do their own actions. In some sense, the East Coast Super Mutants are what the second generations would be if they didn't have intelligent members of the first generation to rely on, just with the added bonus of turning into behemoths. They have no guidance and are likely heading towards extinction faster than the West Coast ones, due to their aggressive nature. But in the end, they're both dying races that have to band together to survive, even if FEV keeps popping up in every new game. The Super Mutant voice is a voice that's slowly going to be smothered out. The only ones a Super Mutant can rely on is their brothers, their sisters, their unity. Because as the years move on, and their numbers fall to humans, and their source of family members dries up, their last breath can only hope to go out with a bang. But in the end, it'll be a whimper. The last Super Mutant on Earth will die to a caravan guard who didn't even know what he just killed was.